Okay, here's part 2 of our box lid tutorial. I've opened my Silhouette Studio software, and I've also opened the PNG that we created before. You can see it right here. And I've also opened the PNG for the label that we created. The first thing I'm going to do is set this up to print. Because I can only print on an 8.5 by 11 size paper, I need to change my paper size. And then I also want to display my registration marks so that I can make sure that I maneuver this into a space where it's not going to interfere with the registration marks. The next thing I'm going to do, because I don't want to waste any paper, is I'm going to take this and copy it. I'll just use Control-C to copy, and then come back over here and use Control-V. Oh, hit it twice. Don't need two of them. To paste. And then just move it into this empty space here. That way I only have to print one piece of paper. I don't have to waste a second sheet of paper. So I no longer need this little cupcake box tab. Okay, the next thing I need to do, I've also opened the cutting file that comes with the box. And this is in the SVG format. When it comes in, it will be all grouped together. So the first thing that I want to do, because I'm doing a printing cut, I want to make sure that the lines of this file don't print on my project. Even though this says 0, it probably is not 0, so I always intentionally set it to 0 to make sure that all the lines are not going to print. The next thing I'm going to do is do Object Ungroup, so that I can get to these different pieces individually. And you can see when I do that, these little boxes form around every single little bold line dash. So the next thing I want to do is take all of these pieces that I know I want to keep together and go ahead and regroup that. And you can go Object Group, or you can just use Control-G. So now that's all one big file, and if I move that file around, which is often hard to do because it's hard to get right on those, the little dashes will not be left behind. So the only thing left to do now is convert this into a cut line. Right now it's just a path. So all I have to do is click the scissors icon and then click the cut, and it will turn all of those things into cut lines. Then I'm going to hit Control-C, copy it, come over to my box lid. Let me put this so you can see it better. And then do Control-V to paste. I'm going to zoom in a bit so that you can see it a little bit better. I don't know if I want to zoom in that much. I have a hard time with the zoom on this thing. That's one thing that I struggle with a bit. Okay, then I'm going to maneuver this into position so that it will cut my box out. And you can play with your arrow keys if you want to be really precise about it. One thing I want to point out, as we talked about in the last video, these are just going to cut out of this piece of paper, so you don't have to worry about it missing just a little bit and having white edges around there. That's why we set it up this way. And you just do the exact same thing for the label. You would just turn the cut line into a cut line by using the scissors icon, copy it and paste it on top of the label. And then you can go ahead and cut out both pieces by sending it to Silhouette for a print and cut. Remember to set up your paper settings to the right thing depending on what paper you use. In my case, I'm going to use presentation paper to print and cut it. And that's all you need to do. If you want to, you can save this as a Silhouette file, studio file, and then anytime you come back, it's all ready to print. You can print your same box again.